Hey y'all, I'm Courtney.
And I'm Sarah.
And this is Bodice Tipplers,
the podcast where we read all the books we used to steal off our grandmother's nightstands.
And then we drink about it.
Hey y'all.
Hey y'all.
So this is the first episode in our little series of the Bodice Tipplers Cringe Binge. And we decided to start with a Sherrilyn Kenyon book. And I have never read Sherrilyn Kenyon, but Courtney certainly has.
Yes, and I went through a series, like, little dark hunter phase. I really enjoyed these books. I don't think I read them when they came out. I probably read them, like 5-6 years after. So, like...
Well, this is the first one. It's called Fantasy Lover, and it came out in 1999. So it would make sense if you read them, like, late college or early post-college. That would track.
Yes. I'm so excited to be talking about this book because I really do have a deep affection for these books, and I think that they're kind of interesting despite, like...
Well, there are like 20 million of these books. They are written by a very extra lady, and we will talk about that. And I'm going to just go ahead and confess that this is going to be on the Hot Mess Express because, as I said in our little fall preview teaser thing, I haven't been able to read anything since the inauguration. So it took me like 2 months to read this book, and I would read like 3 pages and set it down and like look at some more Witcher fanfic. So my memory of what happens in this book, I'll be as surprised as you are. And Courtney did not get a chance to reread it, so it's on me. So anyway, with that caveat, I apologize. And if I get something wrong, I'm really sorry. Like, I'm not doing it on purpose. It's not that I don't respect this book.
We're trying our best.
Yes, I'm doing my fucking best.
We're doing our best.
You guys. So, again, it was a 1999 book, and it has a truly 1999 cover. It's got, like, the T in fantasy is like a cross, as if this is going to be a vampire book, and you would have thought it was, except that it's not. It's a sex slave from a book. And it's all blue, and it's got like this dude like leaning back against like a temple. It is like super stupid. I'm sorry. I don't mean to hurt your feelings, but it is super stupid. And I'm going to read the back cover copy. Cursed into an eternity of slavery by his own brother, Julian of Macedon has spent centuries in hell, where the only respite he knows is measured in a handful of weeks whenever he's summoned through an arcane spell. With the modern age, these summonings are becoming fewer and fewer, and he lives in fear of the day when they'll stop for good. Grace Alexander, and her last name does matter in the most dumb fucker ways, you guys, I can't wait to tell you, doesn't believe in much of anything. But when her psychic girlfriend talks her into performing the spell as a joke on her birthday, the last thing she ever imagines is it working. But work it does. Now she finds an ancient Greek general in her living room and trapped in her life for the next month. He says 10 million times he's not Greek, he's Macedonian, so whatever. Worse, they learn too late that part of the spell means Grace will lose her sanity should he return to his captivity. That's not even true. That doesn't happen. That's not a thing. Anyway, now it's a race against time to free him. Something much easier said than done, since it was the ancient gods who cursed him to his fate. And the last thing they want is to see him go free of the punishment the gods believe he deserves. It's man against the gods and a race against time.
Da-da-da.
The big chunks of that are not even what happens in the book.
Well, part of me thinks, so Sherrilyn Kenyon is a pretty this series is pretty prolific.
I mean, it's not Nalini Singh, but it's close, right?
Right. So, I don't even know how many of the Dark Hunter series this is. Now, while this isn't a Dark Hunter series book
at all,
it's adjacent. And so, in 1999, 2 of her books got picked up by, I believe, St. Martin Press. It doesn't really matter. And so, she had kind of been writing here and there until both of these books got picked up. And part of me thinks that they were probably either one big book or something, and they got divided. So, in the Dark Hunter series, they're not vampires, but they're kind of vampire-y adjacent, right? So they're immortal, they've got super strength, they fight demons and all this kind of stuff. So Julian is of that world, but not one of them. And I feel like that book probably had a little bit more of an introduction to this world that probably got edited down or something, because that first book is a little bit like short and disjointed, but then it picks up with, I think, the first of the Dark Hunter series is called Night Pleasures. And it follows, and again, it's basically in New Orleans, and then she gets real it gets crazy because like you're down in hell for a while. Like, you know,
that's the fun thing about this kind of series, because once you get like 10 books into any one of those things, all bets are off.
Right. Anything it becomes like happen. Buffy, like season 7 or something, you know, like where all of a sudden all this, like they're world building and, you know, these authors, whatever you might think of their books, are incredible world builders and all should be like screenwriters because they can come up with like these incredible like scenarios that you're like, huh.
It does feel extremely, and in fact, all the books I can think of are like this that we were talking about doing for this series do feel very cinematic.
Right.
Like it feels like it's written for the screen, for better or for worse. Right.
It's got that Sidney Sheldon feel to it without being 1,000 pages.
And they also tend to have extremely relatable female characters.
Yes, and that's, I think,
the men are completely ridiculous creatures, but the women are all, you know,
and that's what I really enjoyed about it was like these men, it was like they're a bunch of himbos and like practical or like just real grounded women. Like
it's always all these men like dressed in the international male catalog.
Yeah.
And it's a woman in her pajamas who just wants to eat a fucking pizza. You know?
Yes, exactly. So I think that's what's so great about them. So Sherrilyn Kenyon, one, if you haven't gone, go and look at her website. It is amazing. She has a couple of other series, but what's so great is like she has like character profiles for all of the characters she's made.
She's
and, like,
done fan casting for her own people.
Like the stock images of like who is Arsharad, who is Alex, who is, you know, Spawn. I remember Spawn being a character.
So in other words, it's like she's a giant fangirl of her own work.
Yes, and I love that. I love it. So I think when we think of these kind of books and when we think of like our Cringe Binge, you know, obviously Stephanie Meyer is like one of the names that comes up sort of.
Oh, I didn't even think about doing Twilight. Well, yeah, of course we have to do Twilight.
Right. And so I think it's very much like these people write these and it's a passion project and it's, you know, I appreciate it. So Sherrilyn Kenyon, though, is a little bit like, she got a little nutty.
Let's just say she's got a controversies page on her Wikipedia page.
Well, it's just in her biography. So, you know, let's give her that. So Sherrilyn Kenyon, let's see. She's known for the Dark Hunter series, and she has a couple of pseudonyms. There's Kinley McGregor, which is where she writes historical fiction with paranormal elements. She has sold over 70 million copies in print over 100 countries. You know, best-selling author, da-da-da-da-da. So she was born in Columbus, Georgia. Like we said, her first books got sold to St. Martin's Press in 1999, and those were the Dark Hunter series, and she had started working on those in 84. And then it took until the late 90s until she could like complete them. So they do kind of feel they've got this weird, like they don't, even for a 90s book, they feel earlier in a lot of ways, like especially when you get into the series.
The way that they talk about this man's body, he feels like an 80s, like his legs. It's all about his legs, which by the 90s, they were hiding their legs. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it feels older than it is.
And so, an interesting fact is in 2019, she filed a lawsuit against her husband and his assistants claiming they had poisoned her over a number of years in order to sabotage her health to his financial gain. Her husband filed for divorce in 2018, and the suit alleges that she had had tests done where her levels of lithium, tin, barium, and thorium were at dangerous levels, and that he had been poisoning her since 2015. These had not been interpreted by a toxicologist, and her husband's statement about this lawsuit called her a brilliant fiction writer who has made it apparent she cannot discern between fiction and reality. She dropped the lawsuit in July. So, yeah.
They're just giving you that tea. You know, I don't know. I'm not going to make fun of somebody who could be either poisoned, which is bad, or having a serious, like, episode.
Right. Either way.
Which is also bad, but I think you should know that.
Yes. Either way, I hope that she is doing well and her money.
Yes. I hope that she and her money are taking good care of each other.
Yes, exactly.
However, I will send anybody that fan report about Mercedes Lackey, dude. That is amazing.
It is. Okay. So let's get into this book.
Oh no. I was told there would not be a quiz on this. No, I knew there was going to be a quiz on this. Obviously there's going to be a quiz on this.
Okay, so like I said, this book is like the precursor to these Dark Hunter books. So the Dark Hunter books are very action heavy. This one, not so much. This one is kind of like in between. This one doesn't know what it is.
This one feels, so a lot of the books, probably all the books that we were talking about doing are urban fantasy in some way or another, or, you know, the line between urban fantasy and paranormal romance can be super, super
Yeah.
Slow. So this one is definitely more of a paranormal romance, but it almost always, like an urban fantasy and often a paranormal romance, will have a mystery element or like a palace intrigue element. And this one does not, which is kind of weird. It feels like it's honestly missing. There is a little bit of a thriller element, and I think that she put it in there because she didn't have a mystery element to put in there. So it feels strange because, usually your urban fantasy girlies are PIs, or Anita Blake is an animator who's also working with the police department or like whatever.
And so I can speak to, so each book has a different couple, right? And so you have a lot of cross characters and things like that. And so in the other books, they feel much more moored or anchored to what her vision is for it. This one, again, not so much. And I'm going to just keep saying not so much.
Well, what it's about is Grace is a sex therapist, possibly the least qualified sex therapist I have ever heard of in my life. She is not technically a virgin, but just because she had what she thought was sweet and loving sex with a boyfriend in college, but it turned out he was just collecting virgins. And
well, she has sex trauma. So
yeah, she has sex trauma, but like she heard them laughing about her, and it was super traumatic for her. I don't know why she didn't just go punch him in the face and then fuck somebody else, but
well, because she was in college, and
because she was in college.
Yeah.
So she's a sex therapist. She doesn't know shit about sex.
Yeah.
She has in her house a handheld shower head that she has never used for anything but taking a shower.
I mean, Brett Butler was telling us that back in like middle school. That was like the Brett Butler like closing joke. Honey, you haven't used your shower head for what the good Lord intended. You know,
that's how innocent this woman is. So she should not be giving anybody any sex advice, but yet she is. And so she and her friend, whose name I do not remember, and we're just going to call her friend. This is all happening in New Orleans. It's Grace's birthday, and her friend Susan or Sharon or whatever it is comes over, and what she has is this ancient spell book of sex slave, which is I just got you a Christmas ornament. I'm so sorry.
You know what? You know what to get me next year. If I don't get the sex slave book, you know what though? I don't want a sex slave.
No, it's like upkeep. I have to feed enough people.
Like, but also, like, what have I got to do with this? Like,
it's a white elephant. It's like this is emotional labor. I'm now gonna have to do.
Am I gonna have to go have sex with this man? Like, because I don't, I just want to just watch TV.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, no, this is too much work. And where am I going to put him? Am I going to have to really build onto my house?
Again, perimenopausal Courtney, all she wants is like, I would like the slave that would just like give me my Botox and like fan me.
Is he going to sexually clean this house? Because in that case.
Yes, you know what? Like that, exactly. Like I don't want to be. Yeah, anyway.
If it would help him to put on a frilly little apron, he can do that. But I just want him to scrub the floors.
Yes, oh my God, that would be so much. I've had good sex. What I haven't had is somebody that's not me, do a good top to bottom of my house, of my interior. That's what
I don't mean
like.
My interior as like a nod and a wink.
Like I want to see a man like up there getting those cobwebs, scrubbing the floor, like cleaning the baseboards. Shit.
Oh my God, I've never cleaned a baseboard, and you can tell.
Oh my God, it would be like I'd be like, this is very intriguing. Ooh la la, like clean my shit.
Well, what's funny is that Grace kind of does the same thing. So her friend is like tells fortunes down at the square in New Orleans. So is a kind of like a
con artist.
She's a con artist, right? But she's kind of a woo-woo bitch already with I guess big funky jewelry and a Chico's kind of day. And she comes and they like she does like it's kind of like a Ouija board thing, only it's a sex slave book. And then poof. There's Julian of Macedon. And so hilariously, like he's like, so what is your pleasure? And she's all like, you have to put some pants on.
Yeah. I mean, it is kind of like, it is like this like genie situation. But also I feel like there is some like, what's happening?
You want to, what? No. This is my house.
Did I have a stroke? Like
her reaction is actually, at least in the beginning, very realistic and very charming. Because she's like, no, you're not, mister. We're not. You're going to put some pants on and then you're going to have some pizza.
We're going to sit here and we're going to watch Dallas.
Yes.
And we're going to eat this pizza.
Because she's stuck with him for a month. He can't go back into the book until another full moon or new moon or whatever it is. So, like, she's stuck with this sex slave in her house. But she's like, okay, I mean, I'm not going to throw you out on the goddamn street or anything, but A, you're going to put your dick away. Jesus Christ, you're going to take your damn hands off me. And then you're going to sit on this couch and we're going to watch The Feud. I mean, like, yeah.
So we're going to see if you'd be part of my feud team. Yeah. That's really the bigger test of a relationship. God. Can you make the feud team or not?
Because I have a lot of very good friends who I love very much who would never be on my feud
team.
My
husband would never be on my feud team. I would take his brothers or his siblings over him because here's the thing. He would be terrible at the feud and then he would start arguing with Steve Harvey and I would be so embarrassed I'd want to die.
Well, I would actually never get at the feud because it's not about the right answer. It's about the popular answer.
See, you're like
right there with your husband.
You're like Christopher. like you know,
there was one thing about like what ancient civilization was like really good at boats or whatever, and I was like, obviously the fucking Phoenicians, and they weren't even on there.
Vikings, baby, you got to think.
I thought Vikings.
You got to think about what the people are going to say. The Phoenicians. Like,
well, see, this is why maybe I shouldn't be on your queue. Your feud
no,
team
you're not. You're not on my like my feud. My feud team is one of my closely guarded secrets because people's feelings will get hurt. But I have a feud team. We're ready.
No,
to go.
I understand why I'm not on it.
If we ever get called up to the feud, like it's going to be Avengers, but dorky. So,
if I've been allowed to have a team on Jeopardy, I would have fucking won. So,
yeah. I don't know. I've always thought like the pop culture Jeopardy would be fun. We could go on that. We could do a deal.
You think I would lower myself? It's like being on Celebrity Jeopardy.
Yeah, but what if we went and we won?
Well, okay, yeah, but we wouldn't tell anybody.
I'm telling everybody. I don't have this weird stigma that I know you've been on the real Jeopardy, but like Jesus, no.
Dude, my mom, when we got up to you go to the hotel that all the contestants stay at, and it's all the contestants for Jeopardy and for Wheel of Fortune. I'm sorry if I've already told this story. I'm going to tell
your mom like, my daughter's on the Jeopardy.
Yeah, she was so offended that they thought that I might have been Wheel of Fortune.
Hollywood elite over here. You're part of the Hollywood elite.
I guess so. I'm sorry, but her face was very funny. Anyway, so yeah, she's like, no, I am not gonna fuck you, even though this book,
he's a hot man.
This book's definition of fucking is PIV only because like they are always doing it. They are always doing it. Let me correct you, Sherrilyn Kenyon. If you are engaged in an activity where the idea is that one of you is gonna come, then you are having sex. Okay, you have not had sex because y'all were like flailing around in the bathtub.
It is 1999. I mean, let's say like pre Y2K, you know, whatever. But I get you.
What did it reset your year counter on your?
Well, I guess what I'm saying is like this. It is funny because like this isn't the first of the series book, and I feel like the other one is so much more fleshed out in a way. So this is like a half book.
This is like essentially a straightforward romance because the only story in this is Julian and Grace. Now, I mean, there is a half-baked plot in it about, and I'll get to that, about her therapist work. But I mean, generally, it is just them. And so he has been cursed to be in this book for a variety of reasons, which kind of come out over the...
And he was cursed. I mean, his brother cursed him, but
his brother is Cupid. Julian is one of Aphrodite's kids, and his brother is Cupid. And Cupid cursed him for fucking one of them temple virgins, which you know is bad. Or no, I'm sorry, Cupid didn't do it. Priapus did it for like fucking a temple virgin, which is bad and you should not do it. But evidently she was into it, so it's not like a non-con kind of thing. But there's a lot more like
it's impolite.
It is rude. Yeah, I have to say it's not something you do in polite company.
No, you don't just like come on, man, what are you doing?
Like she has to quit her job first, right?
Right.
It's like cheating.
Obs.
But so he also has this whole like.
Was it like a Coldplay concert? Like
I think it might have been a Coldplay concert. This is going to be such an old joke by the time this comes out.
You know what? I don't care. We are masters of old jokes.
Or something of old jokes.
Who knows? This will come out in 4 years and like everyone will be dead, but we'll be like, we'll put this out.
In the smoking ruins of civilization.
This is what aliens are going to hear when they first get here. Like, who are these two old bitches?
Good thing their civilization imploded because this is terrible.
This is the worst thing I've ever heard.
But he also has this really like sad, trauma-filled backstory that is obviously still fucking up because it's super fresh for him because he just comes out a month at a time to bang a bitch, right?
Yeah.
So
It's been 12 months for him, but it's been like 12 millennia or something.
Yeah, he like stole his friend's girl and hit her with Cupid's arrow and had kids with her. And
Well, see, that is non-Connie right there.
That is non-Connie. And then also she murdered his kids when she like got the whammy taken off of her and then killed. She did it with Medea.
To be fair, like the Greeks / Macedonians, they were always throwing a kid up against them.
No. Yeah, I mean, obviously
they were bashing them. They were basically treating kids like you would take one of those things that you throw on the ground and it pops, you know, like the fireworks snappy noise. Like they're just throwing them on sidewalks and stepping on them.
Before you think, however, that Sherrilyn Kenyon has read even the World Book Encyclopedia about ancient Greece, let me explain that she has not.
Here we go. Sarah's favorite. Let me explain.
No.
Why I'm right and someone else is wrong.
I think y'all are going to see that this is not just a Family Feud answer here. This dude is fighting the Romans, but he grew up as the kind of Spartan, like where they like, you know, like the Spartans that you're thinking about. Okay. Like the time does not make any.
I love that you're trying to like ascribe some kind of logic on a book where a man is trapped in a book. And has to come out and just bang randos ever so often.
When she doesn't know what to do with him, she reads him.
You're like that's fine, but this is a bridge too far. This is a bridge too far that you're not getting my historical facts correct when we get this man out of like
he gets in a fist fight with a backer gang that turns out to be Cupid and his friends and Psyche.
You know, I don't see Cupid being a biker though.
Well, this Cupid is.
I don't agree with that though.
Well, anyway. He's here and he's here for a month and he keeps on like being baby, come on. And she's like,
put your dick away. Put your dick away.
Put your dick away. So, but he's also like, I get the appeal. He's also really traumatized. Like he's scared of the dark because he's been in this fucking book.
He's in a book. He lives in a book.
And he hasn't had the opportunity to, I don't know, put clothes on or leave a house ever. He does like hear what happens outside the book. So he knows like what pizza is, which it makes things a little easier. Right. But, yeah. So like she starts taking him out for walkies, I guess. And what happens when she takes him out the house is that every woman around gets like a snoot full of his pheromones and loses their fucking minds, like throwing elbows, you know. I mean, it is.
Well, he is like Brad Pitt. Like he's just walking around here looking like Brad Pitt because he's, you know, this is the thing. He's a blonde man, and we know how you feel about
a blonde man.
But he's like that Alexander the Great blonde, where it's like gold.
Oh, I'm sure he is.
Like like early McConaughey gold, you know?
And, I mean, his ass is fantastic, but it's actually part of the spell, I think. Because all the men want to punch him in the face and all the women are like embarrassing themselves.
He can't have any man friends. That's the thing.
Which is sad. He needs he used to have like a man friend way back in ancient Rome /
Yes,
Sparta.
because he becomes the next character in
Cayenne or whatever.
Yes, he is the next guy in the book. So it's
yeah, you can tell he has to be.
Yeah, so it's like some kind of double whammy situation where I feel like these are probably 2 books or like bigger books and they got like split weird. I'm going to keep saying that even though I don't know it. I'm going to say it like I'm an expert. But you know what? We live in that time where if I say something with enough conviction.
Is this how we're going to win the feud? Is you going to say it?
No, I would never argue with Steve Harvey because that man, he's got his whole rules. Like, no, I'm not back.
Oh, my God. I will argue the fuck with Steve Harvey because Steve Harvey is such a piece of shit.
You know what? They're coming for you now.
Go on. Bring it.
You know what? I know you got all your erudite like Jeopardy friends, but the feuders, you can't fight the feuders. It's in the name. They're good at feuding, bitch. Like, you know.
Bring back what's his name, who was just like pervy on Maine, you know?
Oh, yeah, he was.
Oh, what the fuck was oh my God, Richard Dawson?
Was it Richard Dawson? Intern. Was Richard
Dawson.
Thank you. In one of our many changes, our intern here is now to like answer any of our shouts. If I'm like, intern, make a sticker where there's an alien and like us, and it's like nothing to report here, no signs of life. You know, that's
not intelligent life anyway.
Intern. I'm just gonna keep shouting it. This is the most powerful I'll ever be. So yelling intern jokingly is that. So yeah, okay. Continue with the plot of this amazing book.
So yeah, it's like this push and pull between them, and somehow, even though she's like, no, you get back in your like your pants. Somehow he like goes down on her, and like, they have a lot of sex.
Hey, there's some downtowning.
Oh, there's lots of downtowning in this. Oh no, they fuck in this book.
Okay.
This is after 1990.
Earlier you were like, it's just PIV.
No. I'm saying it was they are acting like, no, we're not having sex because they haven't PIV.
Oh, they're doing the college thing.
Yes.
Where it's like just the tip.
Yeah.
Everything but,
yes. So, but like there's this constant tension between the two of them. And so, like, the story is kind of starting up around the edges that she is in a sex therapy practice with other people.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And somebody is out, I guess, on maternity leave or whatnot. And so this, like, super creepy dude who has, been to prison for stalking.
Is he a sex therapist? Is he the temporary sex therapist?
No. He's the client.
Okay, because I was going to say, I have a lot of problems if this is like...
No.
If this guy's the temp, like, hey, we found this dude, and we figured, like, nightmare therapy.
Well, he actually knows more about sex than Grace does, so, But so this incredibly creepy dude is now her client, and so she is trying to deal with him in this professional way, and he is disturbing. And he, I forget exactly how this happened, but I think he, like, steals a Rolodex or something and shows up at her house.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, it's like really upsetting, and she's freaking out. But luckily, she happens to have
she has a sex slave
who's also now a security guy. Whatever.
He's doing security detail.
Yes. So I mean, at least she would have been a lot more scared if she hadn't had this dude hanging around her house.
And he is like a Macedonian general.
Yeah.
So, like, really, that's a good backup because you know what he knows how to do? It's fight without a gun.
That's true.
And really, in the terms of fighting, that's elite level fighting.
Weirdly. Well, I'll tell you what happens. Okay. Unfortunately, that doesn't even really get to come out. So, like she has like run-ins with this dude, and it is legitimately upsetting. Like it is, like reading this, you're like, oh God, I don't know where this is gonna go. And eventually, he does break into her house and calls her from her own phone.
Oh no!
Yeah, at the office, and he's like, whose men's clothes are these? And like, who are you fucking? Essentially, and she's freaking out. Of course, she calls the cops. Julian isn't home. I forget where. And so they get there, and she is like appropriately upset. And she goes in the house with the cops, and they're like, "Well, he's not here now, but can you tell us?" And her house is all torn up. But the big thing is that her big closet, like her all of her books are in like shelves in her closet. And they're really important to her and her dead parents. Like it's some of like the books that her father wrote and all that. I don't even know how it's possible for this man to have literally torn up all of her books. It sounds like she had like as many books as I have. And I mean, like that would take you weeks and you would have to be really strong. But anyway.
Well, I'm sure some of them, but you know what I mean. Like,
no, he shredded the fuck out of every single book she owned. I mean, like
maybe she's got a shredder because she is a therapist, and so she can have a shredder because of HIPAA.
Dude, she hasn't heard of HIPAA, man. She talks about everybody's business in front of everybody. Well, this is actually probably pre-HIPAA, but not that was okay or anything. Like it was not professionally ethical. But she is just beside herself, and Julian is so upset for her. But of course, there's not anything he can do because like the guy's not still there. So. Upsetting for her, and he can only do so much to help her, and it's,
I mean, he has to say, like, basically, like, he's chained to her or something, like, psychically, right?
Well, and he's doing this thing where he gets, like, increasingly crazy the more he doesn't nail her.
Oh, that's right. It's like, yeah, if his penis doesn't go into a thing, he's going to lose his mind. Yes.
Yeah, so it's a problem. And as this goes on, eventually she has to start chaining him up. But, they run into... downtown New Orleans, and it sounds like they're in like the tackiest touristy parts of anything. They run into this biker gang, but this biker gang is led by Cupid. Yeah, that Cupid. Like Julian's half brother, and like Psyche is there, and he like gives like he actually like had asked to see Cupid and didn't think he'd see him, but here he is, and actually gives him some information, which is nice. Eventually, when you've been stuck in a book for a few thousand years, tells him like, okay, well, Priapus is gonna be mad, but you can theoretically break it if you don't nail her until the last, like the night of the full moon,
last second,
and you gotta stay in her until dawn.
You gotta bang all night.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, man. This is going to be your greatest challenge yet because you're a banger, but you got to bang all
and you got to not bang till then, which is hilarious that they don't think that they have been.
Yeah, this is true.
Yeah. So that's...
Well, we're also going on like Greek, whatever. And the Greeks had some wild, like, whatever about sex. So I guess, like, if we're basing it on Greek definition...
Is this like a third basis anal thing? I don't even know.
Well, they'd be like, well, a boy is not, like, until he's 12, he's not really a boy. So, they had a lot of weird rules.
They had
So I'm just saying, it is very possible that they're like, anything but doesn't count. Who knows? Who knows what Aphrodite's doing? She's a hoe.
That's true. But so anyway, we know that we have to do that. Now, I mean, she does kind of make a writer mistake by not reminding us, like, through the rest of the book exactly what he said, because I found myself at the end of it being like, wait, does he... It's good to, like, tell you what the rules are more than once, right? But they don't bother to do that. And there is some punching and whatever with the biker gang, but it's generally a positive interaction. So while all this is going, they have this in the back of their heads. And they also have this thing where Athena shows up, because Athena was, like, his goddess, not his mom. His mom, he's never really spoken to. It's like this whole thing. But Athena's like, hey, guess what? If you can get out of this, I'll send you back to Macedon. Like, you can go back in time. And he's like, oh, okay. Because he was thinking, of course, about staying with Grace. But then he was like, I can't be in your world. And I suck. And also I, kind of brainwiped my wife. And, it's all that kind of business. Very angsty. And as in all of this kind of book, there's like a stress throughout the whole thing. Is he going to go back in time, or is he?
So is it a thing? Okay. So what is interesting? Because again, like, they're all part of this. So in the Dark Hunter series, essentially how you become a Dark Hunter is you sell your soul to get an act of vengeance. So, like, it's all these desperate dudes who are like, I'm going to get you. And, like, they sell their souls to Artemis. So I think that's, like...
I think it's Athena.
Oh, no, I'm sure. I'm just saying, like, it's interesting, the, like, dynamics going on. So, and I like I said, it's been 100 years since I've read it.
I've been since I started it.
I was trapped in a book. So...
It happens to the best of us, right?
Until I come out to podcast.
So, like, what happens with the stalker is that, like, he does show up at her work, but she's at her work with Julian, and there's an elevator, and of course Julian's like, what the fuck is that?
Oh, yes, because here's the thing. They do, like, talk about... I remember them talking about this, and, like, her being like, you don't know what this is? I know you've been around. He's like, well, I just get locked in people's bedrooms.
Yeah. So he knows what pizza is, but not what an elevator is.
Right.
Makes sense,
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's like this whole thing about who's going where like she runs down to her car Julian runs down to her car to grab something, and then she remembers something else, but he went down the stairs and she goes in the elevator, and guess who's in the elevator is her horrible stalker, and who smacks the button between floors, and she's trapped in there, and it is legit, like, upsetting. Like, you're pretty sure that, like, he means to kill her. And so, of course, Julian realizes, and he, even though he's scared of, like, dark, tight places, like, he shoulders open the elevator doors and he jumps down, and he's like, and, like, subdues the dude. Then the cops show up, okay? And then I guess Sherrilyn Kenyon doesn't know how to, like, kind of resolve this scene. So she just has the stalker go for a gun, and the cops just all shoot him.
It's a good, quick way to take care of it.
Yeah.
She's and like, I'm done with this part.
Yeah, I'm done with this part. So Julian's like, don't look. Let's just go home.
I love it. I love that. That is just like, bye. We're done with this part now.
Yeah, literally, like, moving on.
Yeah.
Have disposed of the actual plot.
Yes. And so they go and I'm assuming TCOB.
Yeah, we're getting towards the end of the month, and he's getting crazier and crazier. Like, he has special handcuffs that he has to, like, cuff him up with a lot. And, like, does this man not have to pee? Because, like, she'll cuff him up for, like, 2 days. But, and it happens, like, when they kiss. So it's kind of okay. Like, he can go, lick her stem to stern, and that's fine. It's not a problem. There's this, like, hot kind of thing. Well, no, it's hot until you realize that they're just, like thumping around in the bottom of a bathtub, and then you realize how uncomfortable that is, and she's probably smacked her head on the faucet, and then it's like,
maybe they have like a good big bathtub.
Even then, it's
yeah, but they're young. Remember when you were young and you would be like, oh, now it's like,
yeah. Well, like how shower sex sounds good, and then like want to use cold. Like, no, this is terrible.
The practicalities of it.
But you know that it sounds like when you give a scared dog a bath.
Practical consideration land to a book that has a sex slave who lives in a book.
It's just scrabbling.
Yeah, it is scrabbling. Yeah. No, agree.
But so, like, you know, and of course their interpersonal turmoil gets more intense because, like, he doesn't know if he wants to stay or if he wants to go. He doesn't think he's good enough for her. She, like, is having her own problems. They run into her ex, Paul, who, by the way, calls Julian the f-slur for no reason at all, just to...
Because it's 1999 and, like... you know, whatever stupid Woodstock 90 whatever had just happened.
Oh, yeah. Like a Fred Durst energy coming out of that.
Yes.
And there's also, like, her friends, like, who seems great, and her husband, who seems great. Like, her husband all of a sudden is like, well,
it's the curse. Yeah, it's the hoodoo. It's the hoodoo on him.
So Aphrodite walks into her counseling office, and I guess the sex therapist is like, obviously you need help. But like just spits all this shit at her. Like, Aphrodite is hurt that her son has never come to her. And so it's like two hurt people, right? I guess it's like that. Two people who are just too proud to whatever. And Grace is like, you let your son get trapped as a sex slave in a book. And Aphrodite is like, well, he should have called me. Like, oh my God. So yeah, it's completely unhelpful at all. Like, I don't even know why she thought she was showing up, because he does not offer any assistance whatsoever. So then, like, that final night, the last night that he's going to go back in the book, all these fucking gods show up, and it's like this whole fucking business, literally a whole fucking business. But Aphrodite takes, I guess, part of the curse away, but I'm not even sure which part of it. Maybe the go crazy part, because the rest of it is clearly going on. And I think she's a goddess. She could have done whatever the fuck she wanted to. But anyway, and like, so Athena's like, hey, go back in time. And like all that Priapus shows up. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Okay. So they do fuck until dawn. And then even though Grace is like, you're leaving me, and he's like, no, we're going to stay. So happy ending. His mother gives him a suitcase full of shit, including a passport. Hey, this is hilarious. She says, I guess you won't need the green card since you're getting married. Like, no, that's how you, what are you, do you?
I love that you're like, she can do anything, but then when it comes to documentation, you're like dubious.
Well, I'm doing like that. One thing, she doesn't know what I guess why would she know what a green card is? But she knew enough to give him.
But what I'm saying is, it's so funny because you're like, why didn't she do that? But then I can't believe she made a passport, that bitch. Like,
no, I can believe she made a passport. I think it's hilarious that she also makes him several doctorates, including ancient history and classics, because she clearly has no idea how academia works and what the job of a professor is.
Well, his hot ass ends up working at like Tulane or somewhere, one of the, like, so he, like, in the rest of the books, he's just kind of there. And then Aphrodite does get grandbabies, so it's like a whole thing. So.
But one reason why he is able to stay with Grace and why she could break the spell is her last name is Alexander, because she's descended from Alexander the Great, which is how you get your last name like that.
It's true. And he was the fuckingest of everybody. So
he was the fuckingest of everybody. We know about him and Bago ass, right?
Yes, exactly.
So, and then that's the end of the book. I have probably forgotten a few things, and I apologize.
I think you did amazing. You know what? We're doing our best. We're doing our best.
Not always.
That's our best for the day.
Okay, yes, that is my best for the day. So, yeah, this book. Question time. Big dick energy or big dick energy?
I remember really liking Julian.
Yeah, actually, I mean, like, considering that he's a person from when? I don't even know. And he's kind of funny, and he's doing his best, and he does, like, go and trade his general's ring for, as best as he can remember, every book she lost during the day while she's out at work. And
he does replace her book.
Yeah, and so it is a big grand gesture.
It's a great grand gesture.
Yeah, it's pretty good, even though it's a little weird and silly because, like, I don't even know how he would have gotten some of this that day. But,
he's very good at antiquities because he is an antiquity himself.
He has a doctorate in it, I've been told.
He does. He is an antiquity himself.
He is an antiquity. Yeah, so, like, I did like him, even though he's a blonde man. His angst was, like, kind of a pain. Well, I mean, his angst didn't take over his character so much that he annoyed me too much with it.
Right.
Because sometimes you know how they can be like, shut up and get over yourself, right?
Right.
And he did. He was very centered on her needs. Even though he actually didn't have to be, because she wasn't demanding that he be. And I mean, I think part of that, of course, is that he was sexually victimized, like, you know, before this book, intensely. So that it, you know, any weird stuff in that kind of got papered over by that.
Yeah.
Is that, like, he had his own trauma. Would you talk shit with her about the heroine?
I remember, again, what I like about these books is generally, I kind of like the female character.
Yeah.
One of the things I remember, and I don't think Grace is one of these characters, but in some of the books, like, she has people of all ranges and sizes, and she's
a bit chubby, yeah.
And what she does is always very clever, because she'll tell you somebody's, like, clothing size. She never puts numbers on things, you know. But like in one of the books, it's like a girl who is like a size 18. In one of the books, it's a girl. Like, so, you know, I like that. And it was one of the times I remember what I enjoyed about this series was it was such a diverse body casting within the books themselves.
Yeah, she certainly thinks that she's kind of chubby. I don't know if she actually is, because it's the kind of book where you can't tell, because
but that's what's like, perfect about it, because I think, you know,
so ugly, you know,
when you have those books, again, 168 pounds or 163 pounds,
that'd be Wishes by Jane
from our favorite, like, that puts a number on a thing, and that's what you become consumed by. But like, this is like,
her self-esteem is
objective.
In the toilet, and he is super into her.
Right. And like, I think it's like she takes into account like body dysmorphia and everything else. That's
I would just really like to know that she actually is kind of chubby, and yet this dude is super into eating her pussy.
Well, I think she is. Like, again, she does in those books later on, like I said, she does all body types and makes sure that she, you know, puts that in there.
Bechdel to Bitch has, well, they do talk about him a lot, obviously, but there are like a strong female friendship in this.
Yes. And that's, I remember being like, felt that was rewarding too.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, oh, wow. Like, you know, I remember it being one of those book series. I was like, huh, these two bitches don't hate each other. You know, like how...
They're super supportive, you know, and her friend is like, oh my God, you got to get over that dude from college. Like,
yes,
you know,
like,
and you got to eat this pizza too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Eat the pizza, get over the dude from college.
Yeah. Like
to live by.
Very supportive friend. Like real supportive, not like fakety fake supportive.
No, and I think that's what's interesting about this, like the books that we're doing, while I think they're very easy to laugh at and make fun of and be like, oh, you know, I think that they're kind of groundbreaking in a way, because they kind of go away from the normal mold, and you see female friendships, you see all kinds of friendships.
And I think it is like more so in the kind of book that's kind of like this, where it stays with one character, like one main character, which I guess is more the urban fantasy than the paranormal romance. They always accrue this big, like, kind of galaxy cluster of side characters that you just love to see. Like, Anita Blake does that for sure.
And she does this, like, because again, like I said, the other books, like every book focuses on a different couple, and then like you'll see them in another book, and it becomes this really big world, you know? And I like that kind of stuff.
And I mean, somebody made the point on Blue Sky a while ago, is that like people underestimate the amount of skill it takes for somebody like Nalini Singh to have written, I don't know how many side changing books there are. Let's say that there's 20. That means 40 people that have to kind of be around, but that you cannot kill.
Exactly.
Like, you can't have anything really bad happen. No. You can't fuck up somebody's happily ever after. So you have to work your world in such a way that those people are safe, and yet there's still stakes in your narrative. That is hard. Mm-hmm. That's not fucking around, right?
Yeah.
When it comes to consent, is this book more Robin Thicke or Marvin Gaye? Well, in the past, he did Cupid's arrow his ex-wife.
He did Cupid's arrow.
Or late wife. Yes. Well, and the weird thing is that there's a Cupid's arrow, like a Chekhov's Cupid's arrow, because he takes Cupid's arrow away from him, and you think you're going to see it again, and you never do. Like, he's
like, this is mine now.
Yeah, but he doesn't use it ever. It was just kind of weird.
I guess maybe he learned his lesson.
He is a little pushy. I mean, like, if she says no, he's always. Well,
I guess the sex slave like drive, maybe. Yeah. It is interesting because I don't know. To me, again, it's been 100 years since I've read it, but like it is a little not ravishy, but like flirts with it.
Okay, I'm not gonna have sex with you. I'm just gonna suck on your nipples.
I think it's like this idea of like this Macedonian general in your house. And
he's
like,
so gone for you.
And but also like will take no for an answer, but won't take no for an answer.
He'll talk you into it a little bit, but it does have that weird concept that the only thing that you can really call sex, in other words, we're not having sex if it's not penis and vagina.
I mean, again,
y'all absolutely
the Greeks, though, who knows what they get up to. So.
I mean, he is eating her out all the time.
Good for them.
Yeah. How badly are you judging your mom off for reading this book?
I had my mom read one of them, and she was like, I liked it. There was too much sex, but I liked it.
It was a lot of sex.
I was like, Kathy Habar, you should be a horn dog. But no, my grandmother would not have read these. She was like, what she'd been like. And again, this question's hard to do because this is a 1999 book.
And these are very different from the 70s and 80s books that we normally do. Yeah, they're a whole other breed. Like this
Kathy Habar read one, and again, middle-aged white women love them.
Middle-aged white women. Yes.
Yeah. And I think it's like where you like rubber again, it's such a trite thing, but like it's one of these series where not just once, there's not just like one special fat girl. You know how like a lot of times there's one special fat girl.
Oh, yeah.
And like this one, everybody is like, they're beautiful, obviously, or beautiful to whoever, but they're like
he keeps saying how beautiful she is. I hadn't got the impression that she just like looked like a person, which
but he was beautiful,
like a person. Like he is down bad for
yes,
her,
and I love that. Be. Like, and I think that's the thing in all of them is like like I said, these books really range. There's one girl that's like, she's kind of like a fighter badass, and then there's another girl that's like a hippie girl that's like, all hips and ass, and but it was like describing bodies in such a good, like celebrating all bodies, and I liked that a lot.
Would Florida ban it?
Oh, probably, because they ban everything. But I think that it does a good job. Like in some, like, especially like if I'm remembering the series, like there are some clumsy elements to it. I remember one part that I thought was interesting. There's one character in one of the books, and he's a white guy with dreads, but the girl asked, like, how do you wash your hair? And he's like you do. But I was like,
yeah. They're not dirty. Yeah, they're...
Right. Yeah. But you're, like, putting that point in there. And obviously, like, it can be better that it's, like, a white guy, like a dreaded white guy.
There is a white beauty priestess in this.
Yeah.
She's not in it. She's in it for, like, a page. But she is there. Like old Paul from college, who obviously does suck. But he like, his way of, like, trying to start a fight with Julian is he calls him the f-slur. Like... Right.
But I think it's also, again, it's 1999. Like I said, you cannot discount the cultural impact.
The Fred Durst Nation.
The Fred Durst Nation of like that is exactly what one of those dudes would say.
Oh yeah,
and I am not okaying it at all. But
I mean the thing is, he's mad at him for stealing everybody's girls.
Yeah, but I remember hearing dudes yell that
all the time. You're not leaving the house looking like that. Okay, no, that's not true. There's not regular outfits, but they do buy lingerie. They go lingerie shopping, and her friend is like, you should get this, and he's like, yes, you should get this, you're getting this.
There's a lot of celebration of like female form, because in one of the books I remember, like, it's a book where there's a heavier heroine, and she goes into a store and she's trying things on, and basically the guy comes in and is like, you are the hottest thing I've ever seen, we're gonna make the fuck out right here in this dressing room. And she's like, well, okay, and I think that is like interesting. And but again, outfits for sure, and there's outfits on like heavier women and like things like that is like, hey, you don't really, or not even heavier, but like in the guise of like, we read so much of these books where it's like, if you weren't 105 pounds, you were a fat bitch, and you never were worth like hearing about your clothes.
Yeah.
And so, like, to have clothes described for somebody who is an average body type.
Well, the funny thing is, thinking about it, actually, there's more of a focus on his clothes, not in like that weird international male way, but more like dressing him up like a Ken doll. Like they go and buy him clothes,
right? Because
it's like she and her female friend, and they're like buying clothes with him.
He's never really had clothes because he just is always naked on a bed.
Yeah, he's not allowed clothes. So like they're picking out clothes for him, and like that's honestly the fantasy, right?
Right.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, it is actually kind of great. Would your 12-year-old self have dogged it on any pages? Yo, they fuck.
They capital F. Capital F, capital U, capital C, capital C.
We're used to reading books from before 1990, so I was like, God damn, man, because I was expecting the one scene at the end, maybe a few little near misses. No, they are
Sherrilyn is making sure everybody gets it.
Yeah.
Everybody.
I mean, because I was like, okay, so if y'all aren't really going to have sex, you say you're not going to have sex, and I took her at her word, but evidently she meant you're not going to put your penis in me, because, like, they are in it all the time.
Good for them.
Yeah. It's like a mouth and hand business. Like,
I love mouth and hand.
But he can't come until the end.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he's got like this whole
It's like
orgasm
the month-long edging.
Yeah, but don't worry. He is 100% dedicated to worshiping her body and bringing her off all that he can.
Yes.
Like, this poor woman needs, like, a bottle of water. Like, she's got more exercise in this book than she's had in the last 6 months. She's like, oh my God, my back.
My neck, my back.
Yeah, it's like that. What pairs nicely with a dumpster fire?
Oh, you gotta go with like a Greek wine.
Like a Retsina, I guess? Or it comes in an amphora.
Is there a Macedonian wine we could suggest? I don't know. So, I don't know. I think that is a fun one. And then again, should a person in the 21st century read this book?
Maybe. It is. They do bang a lot, and the sex is very hot. It is ridiculously stupid, but like, what else were you expecting? That's what you're here for.
Yes, and again, like I said, this one I feel like is not indicative of the rest of the series. I enjoy. Until it got to such a place where like all of a sudden there's like dream demons and like where it just got too. Because she just kept going, and good for her. But I was like, this is like too much, man. I don't know
when Aphrodite hands him that box of documents, I just like, this is so fucking. This feels like fanfic. This feels like fanfic.
Well, but here's the thing: what's wrong with that? Because
no, nothing. I'm just saying that was the vibe.
There's like such a like whatever.
Well, obviously nothing because that's all I do anymore.
I know, but there's like something about. I think that there is something to be said for the Sherrilyn Kenyons, the Stephanie Meyers, the Charlene Harrises, that gets kind of undersung, and that you can really tell that they love this. They love what they've created, and you can feel that
they're fans of their own world. Yeah,
and you can feel that love, and like good or bad, whatever you want. Whatever you want to say about the rest of it, like you have to give them that is evident in their writing.
Yeah.
And just like a fanfic author who is not doing it for money, they're doing it because they love it.
They're doing it for kudos.
Comments like. So I think I really remember enjoying the series, especially like the first 10 books or so. Like I just ate them. I just devoured them.
Is there actually any series that is good after book 10?
Yeah, I know.
I don't know. Because I can tell you that I have read several. I'm talking to you, Janet Ivanovich, after book 10, and I have always regretted it.
Right. It just gets like where you get it's so big.
Yeah, Anita Blake. And like Stephanie Plum, it gets to just like you're reading the same book over.
Well, it was like, I was that way with my mom was too with it's Preston and.
Preston Child.
Yes. I like the whole like. What the fuck is that guy's name?
Reacher?
No, I didn't do the Reacher ones. I did the Pendergrast ones, like Relic, those books. And you remember you talked about like the skill of like the balls in the air. Like, those two fuckers will kill a person that was the star of the book last time. But there's so many of them now. I'm like, this is just too much. I can't keep up with it. And I think that there's a shelf life of like
either you have to change the series has to grow so that it's unrecognizable, which people don't like. They don't publishers don't want, and their fans don't want, or you're just reading the same Janet Ivanovich, the same book over and over again, and they don't want that either. So it's kind of authors are in a kind of impossible.
Yeah, And and she does it like again, it is interesting. Like the one I read to was I think Arsharon. Which if you read the Dark Hunter, I keep calling him Demon Hunter because my kid reads these like Demon Slayer manga, and it just it all melds into one. But Arsharon is like the leader of the Dark Hunters, like with Artemis, and like his book I think was the last one, and that one to me I was like, this is so like. I remember like 2/3 of the book being about like how he was essentially tortured his whole life, and then like the last third was like an actual romance with this girl. I was like. this is like the big one. This is the thing. And I'm like, I'm not in this. And then he sang like a Creed song. And I was like, oh, no. Oh no, he sang a Creed song to her. And I was like, I can't. I think that's when I was like, I'm done. Like he's singing Creed. He's singing Creed to a person in public.
Fire alarm.
Yeah. So, but I really do enjoy this series. And I think that if you need something just dumb to like, and again, I hate using that word, but something that like is a comfort read and something that you can unplug your brain and is like TikTok, but you're still reading. I think that the Dark Hunter series is a great place for you.
We've been struggling with a term that means guilty pleasures without the guilt part because
Right.
I mean it's not guilty. You should enjoy lots of different kinds of books.
Especially this now.
I normally, like when I can normally read books, I read tons of different kinds of books. And some are like really difficult and stylistically like challenging, and some are Dungeon Crawler Carl, okay, and some are for this podcast.
It doesn't matter what you're reading as long as you're reading.
Yeah. However, there is a certain kind of book where turn your brain off or goes down real easy.
Yes.
Yeah. And I mean, like sometimes you need that, and there's no shame in going for that, but like guilty pleasures is such a good word because it means that, but I don't want anybody feeling guilty about that. I want you to go read stuff that makes you happy.
Exactly.
So
happy reading, I guess.
Happy reading.
And we'll catch you next time on our next episode. We're going to be continuing our Bodice Tipplers Cringe Binge. Courtney got it this time. Courtney's been having trouble with the inges.
Rhyming. Rhyming is hard.
Yes, rhyming is hard. It's the inches for me. But we are going to be doing Dead Until Dark, which is the first of the Southern Vampire Mysteries.
Sucky.
Or AKA Sookie Stackhouse. Sookie. Sucky. Bam! So join us mid-September, and we'll see you later.
Unlike these people, we have actual Southern accents, although also unlike these people, they are not New Orleans accents, Louisiana accents.
All right. We're trying our best.
Bodice Tipplers is part of the Frolic Network. Find more podcasts you'll love at frolic.media/podcasts.